So let us begin the session. In last session, we have discussed about the directories, right? What are the directories? How the directories are organized. Also, we have discussed which type of the operations we can perform, and then we have started with the input-output management system, in which we have discussed which are in which type it will be managed. Also, synchronous or asynchronous types. What is the difference between both? Then we have started with the input output communication to input output devices, right? CPU and input output, इन दोनों के बीच में, या फिर we can say whenever input output devices wants to write something or read something from the memory, then how they are going to interact with each other. There are three types, right? We have started those. That is, one is the special instructions input output. There are three types under the communications to the input output devices. One is the special instructions input output, memory mapped input output, and the third one is the direct memory access. From which instructions, special instruction and the memory mapped IO, we have already discussed. Now let us discuss direct memory access. In COA, you might have already learned this term, direct memory access, isn't it? So we can say regarding the direct memory access, whenever any special unit will be provided to permit the data transfer of a block of any data directory between your external device and the primary memory, without, we can say, without um, taking in between the CPU. Okay, if we are providing the direct access, then it is called as, or we can say that unit, we call it as a direct memory access, that is DMA. So it will be the main unit who will be responsible for providing the direct access to the input output device to the memory. Okay, so if a memory wants to read something or write something to the main memory, then it can easily can be done directly without taking CPU in between. Now what I'm saying is, whenever we are saying ki data will be, matlab, without using the DMA, if we are talking, then how it will be done? Suppose this is the CPU. Okay, this is CPU. Then suppose here we have input output devices, and here somewhere I'm having the memory. Okay, and if no any controller unit we are providing, consider we don't have the DMA, then how the process will be executing? Whenever input output device wants to access the memory, either for reading or either for the writing. Okay, so if input output device wants to access the memory, then CPU has input output device has to request for the CPU first. Okay, this will be the first step. Then according to the availability of the CPU, now CPU is going to perform this read or the write permission. Okay, whatever the contents are there, that input output device has to first provide CPU, then CPU is going to write then into the memory. Okay, so for that purpose, for the entire we can say process, मतलब जो भी block of data रहेगा, वो entire byte stream, जितने भी आपका stream रहेगा, उसको आपको लिखने के लिए या फिर रीड करने के लिए CPU will be engaged in between. So there will be total two steps will be there, in which CPU has to work as a intermediator. Okay, तो मतलब पूरा टाइम CPU वहां पे बिजी रहेगा. But direct memory access provide you the specification, provide you the functionality like this process. Matlab, if input output wants to communicate with the memory or want to access the memory, then it can directly access this. And who is providing this? It is handled by your DMA, direct memory access. Okay, so how this exactly works, that processing we will see. Suppose here I have a CPU, then I will be having a DMA controller. Here I will have this controller, and suppose here there is a main memory. Okay, now DMA control will always be having some registers in that controller. DMA controller will be having some registers like address, then you will be having the counter. Okay, then the third one will be the control register. Third one is the control register. Okay, now how this memory mapping will be done, or we are providing the access to the main memory. First, at the very first, the step will be like CPU will be setting up, or we can say CPU programs to the DMA controller. Okay, what it does by programming means it sets this register. It just initializes this all registers, address space जो भी होगा, initialization, counter initialization, okay, and the control ball जहाँ पे उसको भेजना है, that everything, these all registers will be set first of all by the CPU. Okay, the first step will be performed by the CPU by setting up this DMA controller. Setting up this DMA controller means all the registers will be initialized. It will be set up. Okay, now in the next step, the DMA controller, now it is setting up means CPU is entirely giving the access to the DMA controller. Whatever that you want to read, whatever you read write operation we have to perform, that will be now done by the DMA controller. Now CPU is not going to interrupt in between. At the end, जब यहाँ पे read write function complete हो जाएगा, उसके बाद ही CPU यहाँ पे work करेगा. Until then, now CPU can execute some other processes, some other blocks. Okay, so till then CPU will be free. Now DMA controller, now apart from this, जब इसके पास access आ जाएगा, उसके बाद DMA controller यहाँ पे कैसे work करता है? First of all, your DMA controller will request to your disk controller to transfer, we can say transfer to the memory. But before it is asking कि ये request करे, उससे पहले क्या होता है कि आपका ये जो disk controller है, it will simply write, it will suppose यहाँ पे एक drive है, ठीक है? So whatever the data will be present into this drive पे जो भी data है, that will be returned into the buffer of the disk controller. यहाँ पे buffer space will be available, right? So in this buffer, disk controller is going to write this data from the drive. जो भी data होगा इसमें buffer में इसको लिखा जाएगा. Okay. Now simply it will request to transfer the data. I will write here DMA request transfer to memory. Fine. Now, once this controller finishes this, we can say, data transmission from the drive to the controller, it will simply send, or we can write like it will complete after this, the third step, the data transfer. Okay, this will be the third step. And after, I will explain this one more time. Let me write first. Then this will be done. And then acknowledgement will be transmitted here after writing. And this will be your fourth step. Now, what is happening? I will start from the first. First of all, CPU is going to set up the DMA controller, all the registers. ये setup करेगा DMA controller को, जिसके अंदर आपके ये सारे registers set हो जाएंगे, initialize हो जाएंगे. After this, DMA controller will be having all the entire access for the external devices and the main memory. वो दोनों के बीच में communication now DMA controller is going to handle. Okay. Now what it will do, simply DMA will request transfer to the memory. Now इसको ट्रांसफर करने के लिए सबसे पहले डिस्क कंट्रोलर क्या करता है? It will just grab the data from this drive to this डिस्क कंट्रोलर के बफर में. ड्राइव से डेटा कर लेके बफर जो है डिस्क कंट्रोलर का उसमें ट्रांसफर कर देगा. Now after this, whenever DMA requests to transfer the memory, this disk controller is going to transfer this buffer data or the buffer contained to this main memory. Fine. Now once it will finishes to transfer this main memory, this controller is going to acknowledge to the DMA controller. Okay, and now after receiving the acknowledgement, all these registers will be again verified. अब verify करता है मतलब क्या है कि whether the counter is 0 or not, that will be checked, the condition will be checked at the DMA controller. अब counter 0 है कि नहीं, मतलब means entire data has been fetched from the drive to the controller and from the drive controller to the main memory is completed or not. ये सारा चेकिंग वहां पे होगा कि सब जो डेटा हमें रीड करना था या फिर डेटा जो हमें राइट करना था, that entire bit stream, entire blocks or the entire bytes will be written or read or not, that will be checked here. तो यहाँ पे count equals to 0 होना चाहिए. That condition will be checked at the DMA controller once it will receive the acknowledgement. Okay. So if the condition is true, then it will simply now inform to the CPU. Inform करता है मतलब क्या कि DMA will simply interrupt to the CPU when it will be done. DMA controller क्या करेगा, CPU को inform कर देगा, yes we have finished the data transmission. Okay, and then CPU can proceed for the further execution of that particular process for which it has been halted. Okay, so यहाँ पे क्या है, as I said कि if the count equals to 0, मतलब सारा entire data अगर read हो चुका है, if counter is 0 then it will be stopped. Otherwise if it is not 0, then again this entire step, second, third and the fourth step is going to repeat. ओके जब तक कि पूरा डेटा नील पूरा रीड करके नील नहीं हो जाता तब तक ये काउंटर चलता रहेगा. ओके एंड डीएमए कंट्रोल इज गोइंग टू वर्क फॉर दिस एंड मीनवाइल सीपीयू विल बी फ्री. Before this DMA, what was happening? Input output has to request to the CPU and CPU has to perform all the execution, right? Read करना है, write करना है memory के through, then CPU has to perform this thing. But now in this DMA, what is happening? Simply CPU is giving access to the DMA controller and now controller is going to work for this too, right? Between it is providing the communication between the disk controller or we can say the external devices and the memory, right? Is it clear? DMA is clear. Short note will be asked. Short note question will be asked on the DMA. Fine. So.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let me move to the next point. You in DMA you need to explain with the diagram. Okay, short note के लिए आपको diagram के साथ उसके steps सारे क्या करने हैं, explanation देने हैं. Now the next part is, as I said कि whenever CPU is providing to the providing services या फिर कह सकते हैं if any device is performing its own operations, कोई भी external devices है या services जो भी operate हो रही हैं, for them CPU is required or to match that frequency कि whether any process or the service wants the CPU help or not, and that process can be done by using the two methods. The one is the interrupt, okay, and another one is the polling. जैसे मैंने अभी आपको बताया था कि after completion of the DMA processing, DMA controller is going to inform to the CPU by interrupting CPU, right? वो interrupt करेगा बीच में कि yes we have done our work, right? So accordingly CPU is going to schedule the further process or the process which has been halted before. Okay, वो resume करेगा either या तो वो अपना जो भी continue कर रहा है वो continue करेगा. So there are two types in which CPU will be informed about the request or we can say services which are required to the we can say to the resources or to the processes. Okay, there are two types, interrupt and the polling. Now what is the difference between these both? Usually in the interrupt, devices are notifying to the CPU. Whatever the devices are present, suppose printer है, scanner है, या अभी हमने कहा DMA controller है, they are going to notify to the CPU that they need the CPU help. Okay, they need the CPU attention. Okay, the first point here is devices notify to CPU that then requires the CPU attention. That is the interrupt. Okay, but now what is happening in the polling? CPU will constantly asking or CPU needs to check constantly whether devices needs the CPU attention or not. At particular time interval, हर एक randomly time interval पे CPU has to check every time whether this particular device needs my help or not. Okay, इसको मेरा attention चाहिए नहीं चाहिए. Every time CPU has to ask. Okay, so here CPU is constantly checking device status. CPU is going to constantly checking the device status. Fine. And this interrupt is nothing but the mechanism, we can say, which will be provided under this interrupt will be the hardware mechanism. मतलब कुछ ना कुछ वहां पे आपके कुछ इंडिकेशन देने के लिए कि if it requires the CPU, okay, in that way this is the hardware mechanism. The mechanism which will be provided is hardware mechanism, and the polling is nothing but your protocol mechanism. मतलब ये simply आप कह सकते हैं कि सॉफ्टवेयर में जाता है. Okay, this is the protocol mechanism. Now also who is going to manage this this CPU request, CPU का request चाहिए या नहीं चाहिए, and to handle that we have the interrupt handle. If you have heard about there are different interrupt handlers are available. Microprocessor ने अपने already पढ़ा होगा. There are different interrupt handlers are available which are going to handle the interrupts which will be occurring in between the processes. Okay, so there will be the interrupt handler which will be available, and here CPU is going to directly service the service. यहाँ पे CPU we can say services the devices. खुद CPU ही यहाँ पे deal करता है. Okay, but the problem here is that we can say whenever any devices needs the attention of the CPU, they can notify to the CPU that yes, I want your attention, right? But each and every time, if CPU is attending to the devices, then there will be the decrease in the efficiency of the working of CPU, isn't it? मतलब हर बार CPU अपना काम रोक के क्या कर रहा है, अपना रैंडम उसका प्रोसीजर रिपीट कर रहा है कि आई हैव टू चेक नाउ. फॉर एग्जांपल मान लो, इसको एक सिंपल लैंग्वेज में एग्जांपल में हम कंपेयर करेंगे. फॉर इंटरप्ट आई विल से इफ माय डोर बेल विल रिंग, ठीक है, then only I am going to check on the door कि कौन आया है या फिर दरवाजा मुझे खोलना है, someone is waiting outside, right? But what is happening in polling? मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, कुछ रैंडम अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम के बाद जाके बार बार दरवाजा चेक कर रही हूँ खोल के कि whether someone is waiting outside or not, someone is there or not, someone wants to come in or not, right? So we can compare that example for the interrupt and the polling, so you will betterly understand this the concept. Every time CPU is asking to the devices whether you want any services, okay, that is polling. And interrupt is whenever any resources requires the CPU attention, they are going to notify to the CPU. Fine. So we can say interrupt can occur at any time and they can report to the CPU, but polling is not like that. Whenever CPU is going to attend them, then only they are going to capture the attention. तो वहां पे वो भी है कि कोई डिवाइसेस होगा जिसको एक किसी एक पर्टिकुलर मूवमेंट पे वहां पे सीपीयू की सर्विसेज चाहिए, but then that service has to wait, but then that we can say resource has to wait for some time till the CPU is going to ask them whether you want the services or not. तो ये भी एक डिफरेंस आ जाता है इसमें. Fine, but this is what the interrupt and the polling system is. Now the next is disk scheduling algorithm. Okay. Before this, which algorithms we have discussed? If anyone remember? Anyone remember which algorithms we have discussed before this? कौन से न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व किए थे इससे पहले?
Page replacement.
Yes, page replacement algorithms. So which were the types? कौन से उसमें strategies थे page replacement में?
FIFO, optimal solution, and LRU.
Yes, exactly. So I asked this because the first part, that is the FIFO is also present in this disk scheduling algorithm also. but whenever you are reading the numerical, read it properly, क्योंकि बहुत सारे इसमें हमें फीफो टाइप के फीफो algorithms है जिसका वर्किंग तो सेम रहेगा, but you have to make sure कि whether you are solving this for the paging, whether you are discussing this for the segmentation or for the disk, okay? या जैसे फाइल मैनेजमेंट के लिए भी हमने देखा था, तो उसमें है whenever you are solving the numericals, क्वेश्चन कौन से टॉपिक पे है, पेजिंग है, सेगमेंटेशन है, या फिर हमने जो फर्स्ट मेमोरी मैनेजमेंट भी जो हमने देखे थे उसमें वहां पे भी कुछ न्यूमेरिकल्स थे. दिस ऑल न्यूमेरिकल्स आर वेरी इजी, 10-10 मार्क्स के लिए न्यूमेरिकल्स होते हैं. इफ यू नो द बेसिक टर्मिनोलॉजी, आप बस एक बार रिवाइज कर लोगे, you will be getting definitely 10 marks, okay? But you have to revise that. बहुत बार ऐसे होता है कि हमने देखा हुआ है जब हम when we used to check the answer sheets, मतलब ऐसे स्टूडेंट जो इतने फटाफट क्लास में सॉल्व करते थे, उनके मेन आंसर शीट में इतनी गलतियां, सारा मिक्सअप कर दिया. whenever we are solving in the lectures, हम बस उतने ही टॉपिक पे कॉन्सेंट्रेट करते हैं, तो वहां पे बहुत आसान लगता है. बट एक साथ जब सारे क्वेश्चंस एक साथ दिखने लगते हैं, तो वहां पे कंफ्यूजन होता है while you are solving. So I'm repeating this for number of times कि you have to revise all the concepts, वरना it will be very difficult to figure out कि कौन सा न्यूमेरिकल आप किस में सॉल्व कर रहे हो, and you will मतलब न्यूमेरिकल तो पक्का आएगा आपके एग्जाम में. Okay, so moving towards the disk scheduling algorithms, the first I will say कि why we require this algorithm and what is the goal to use the algorithms, क्या चीज हमको चाहिए कि जिसे हमें अचीव करना है. So if we will talk about the goal, simply I will say to minimize the seek time. Now what is this seek time? Seek time is simply, we can say, the time which will be required, or the time which will be taken to reach up to your desired track. अब desired track ये सब wording आपको थोड़े से नए लगेंगे if you have already studied this disk management. disk का structure अगर आपको पहले से पता है, then it is easy to understand. But to minimize the seek time, and seek time is nothing but the time taken to reach up to your designated, या फिर हम कह सकते हैं desired track. अब ये track और ये simply I will explain, छोटी सी डायग्राम निकाल के दिखाती हूँ. ओके, कुछ इस तरीके का स्ट्रक्चर होता है कि आपके डिस्क होते हैं, एंड ये जो सर्कुलर शेप में आप देख रहे हैं, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज द प्लेटर्स. इसका कुछ इस तरीके का स्ट्रक्चर होता है, प्लेटर्स. फाइन. एंड ऑन दिस प्लेटर्स you will get this type of the structure. ठीक है. and this, ये जो lines, ये जो partitions आपको दिख रहे हैं, this is called as the tracks. Okay, this is called as the tracks. and the place which is present in between this track, ठीक है, ये दोनों के बीच में ये जो tracks की in between जो भी जगह है, this is called as the sectors. Okay, this is called as the sector. now whenever we are saying कि hard disk है या the data is stored on that, so we can say a number of platters are available, and then combining we will be having a disk. ठीक है. So on the platters there will be two surfaces, one is the upper surface, one is the lower surface. ठीक है. So whenever the data will be read, ये circular motion में काम करता है. So whenever the data will be read, and one more thing, यहाँ पे अब data read करने के लिए एक arm होता है. ठीक है. one arm will be attached to read this data, and this data is going to read, or it will be returned either in a forward movement or in a backward movement. मतलब वो दो ही तरीके से बस क्या है, घूमता रहता है. ठीक है. हिरार्की समझने की कोशिश करो. फर्स्ट यू विल बी हैविंग platter. ठीक है. Now platter, first of all we have to search for the surfaces कि upper surface पे लिख रहे हैं या फिर read कर रहे हैं, or either we are reading it from the lower surface. Okay, then we have to search for the surface, upper or the lower. Then on that surface we will be having the tracks. First of all we have to search for the tracks. Fine. Now on that track, now we are going to move towards the sector. Now in these sectors, whatever the data will be there, that will be written. Okay, data will be available in between this track, in these sectors. Fine. जब भी डिवाइसेस से डेटा रीड राइट होता है वो सेक्टर्स में रीड राइट होता है. जब भी रीड होगा तो सेक्टर के थ्रू रीड होगा. So this is the hierarchy. So to reach from this platter to the sector. Okay, to reach from platter to the sector, how much time is required? The time is called as the seek time. Fine, are you getting this? This time is called as the seek time. As I said, अभी मान लो आपका जो ये arm है, this is available somewhere here. Fine, this is available somewhere here. And this is something, the location 40. Okay, this is location is 40, मान लो. And now your system, your processor has to read the data from the place of 190th. Currently, your arm is present at 40. Now we have to read the data from the 190th place. Okay, so this arm has to forward motion में वो move करेगा. ठीक है, और वो 190th पोजीशन पे वो जाके रीड करेगा. अब इसके लिए मतलब how it is going to perform this reading operation or writing operation, we will be having this disk scheduling algorithm. Now these disk scheduling algorithms are based upon the difference which we have, which is reducing the seek time or whether it is increasing the seek time. मतलब इसमें जो भी different types हैं, जो भी different algorithms है, वो differ करते हैं by their seek time itself. Okay, so there are different algorithms like FCFS, first come first serve. Then we have shortest seek time first. Then we have the scan. Fourth one is the C scan. And the fifth is the look. Total 5 algorithms are available for disk scheduling. Okay. And whenever the question or the numerical will be asked, all 5 methods will be given and you have to find out the best one. आपको वहां पे कंपैरिजन करके जिसमें कम आ रहा है वो आपको आंसर बताना होता है. So remember, every time you have to draw and you have to solve for this each and every we can say method. Fine, but before that I hope this is clear ki what is seek time and what is the disk structure. In the structure of disk we will be having platters, surfaces, tracks and the sectors. And ARM have to travel from platter to the sectors whenever it wants to access the data, whenever it wants to retrieve the data. And the time required to reach from this to this to the destined sector, this time is called as the seek time. Okay, now we will see the FCFS method. We will take directly one example. It will be easy to understand. FCFS, disk scheduling algorithm. Write down the question. A disk contains 200 tracks from 0 to 199. A disk contains 200 tracks, 10 to 199. Your request queue contains track number 8 to 170, 43, 140, 24, 26. Or let me take this 16 and 190. Write it in a notebook. Current position of read right head. read right head position means आपका जो आर्म पोजीशन है जहां पे अभी करंट आपका ये read right head है, that is the read right head position, okay, is equals to 50. Calculate total number of track movement by read right head. So this type of the questions will be asked, but now we are discussing for each and every algorithms. The question will be given for by mentioning all the disk algorithms. जो भी scheduling algorithms है वो सारे mention करके उसमें आपको find out करना होता है. Now the disk contains 200 tracks 0 to 199. The request queue contains track number 8 to 170, 43, 140, 24, 16 and the 190 respectively. Current मतलब इसी सीक्वेंस में आपको चलना है, ओके, इसी सीक्वेंस में आपको चलना है because we are dealing with the FCFS. Current position of the read write head is given as a 50. Calculate the total number of track movement by the read write head. Fine. Now how we are going to solve? We know this this will be happening in a circular manner, but to this easy we are going to draw as a line, straight line. फाइन, कहां से कहां तक का है ये 0 to 199. हमारे पास टोटल क्या है, ट्रैक्स है, टोटल 200 ट्रैक्स है 0 to 199. फाइन. नाउ one more info we have, that is our read write head is present at 50 position. Suppose I'm writing this somewhere here 50. Okay, currently अभी हमारा read write head यहाँ पे है. Now we have to move from 8 to the 190. Okay, so 50 पे है, now 8 पे जाना है, means there will be the backward movement. Suppose यहाँ पे 8 है. Fine. After that 2, again backward, here suppose 2, then 170, then here will be the forwarded movement 170, then 43, here 43, then 140, again forwarded 140. Fine, 140, then 24, again backward, here 24, then we have 16, here somewhere 16, then 190, now forwarded 190. फाइन. तो ये कुछ zigzag टाइप का आपको स्ट्रक्चर दिखेगा एवरी टाइम, क्योंकि मूविंग अहेड, मूविंग बैक, ये दो टाइप के ही ऑपरेशंस हो रहे हैं, राइट. सो नाउ व्हाट वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट, हाउ मच टाइम, कैलकुलेट द टोटल नंबर ऑफ ट्रैक मूवमेंट बाय द रीड राइट हेड. मतलब हाउ मच टाइम it has moved to the backward, it has moved to the forwarded. तो ये कैसे कैलकुलेट करना है, we have to start with the start from the starting position. First we have started with the 50, right? So 50 minus कहाँ पे आए हम लोग 8. हमेशा आपको क्या करना है, whatever the larger number will be there, from that you have to subtract the next smaller one. Even if you are moving from the smaller to the larger one, then also you have to subtract from the larger number to the smaller. Plus 50 minus 8, फिर 8 से कहाँ गए, to the 2, so 8 minus 2, plus after that 170 minus 2, plus 43, कहाँ पे थे हम लोग, 170 पे, 170 minus 43, then 43 पे आने के बाद यहाँ पे 43 पे आने के बाद 140, 43 से हम लोग गए थे 140, राइट. सो 140 माइनस 43, नेक्स्ट यहाँ पे 140 पे आए थे. आफ्टर दैट वी हैव मूव टुवर्ड्स 24, यहाँ पे नेक्स्ट रिक्वेस्ट देखो, 140 से 24, 140 minus 24. Next, 16, 24 minus 16, 24 minus 16. From 16, we have moved towards the 190. So plus 190 minus, kya tha idhar? 16, right? So whatever the answer you will get, that will be the answer for the total number of track movement by the read write head had happened in this example. Okay. Also, you can simply go by like this कि each and every जो हमने attempt किया वो यहाँ पे आप subtraction कर सकते हो, या फिर we can also do कि ये entire movement जो है आप वो भी directly consider कर सकते हो. जैसे 50 से end कहाँ हुआ है इसका 2 की तरफ, right? 50 minus 2, you can take this as a one track. Okay. Second देखो यहाँ पे कैसे रहेगा, 50 minus 2, ये entire पूरा लेंगे हम, पूरा ये track. 8 जो बीच में है एक साथ में एक ही लेंगे, 50 minus 2, then from 2 to the 170, ये entire track है, right? So 170 minus 2. next क्या था, ये वाला track है third, 170 and the 43, 170 minus 43. Next this one, 140 24, 120 24 है या 16 है, 16 है. 140 minus 16 plus the last track, that is 16 and 190. So 190 minus 16. So if you will solve this one also, then it will get the exact same answer like this. Okay, तो आप दोनों तरीके से solve कर सकते हो, but whenever you are representing this, you have to take this all request queues in a sequential manner itself, because we are following the first come first serve method. Okay, in disk scheduling, we know that read write head will be moving from the current position to the requested position, right? जहां पे भी उसको जाना है. So what we are doing, we are moving that read write head either backward or either to the forward. So according to that read write head movement, calculating the total tracking which read write head had done during this entire processing. Okay, and after doing this calculation you will get the final count of total number of track movement. ठीक है, easy है. इसका बस कैलकुलेशन करके मुझे बताओ कितना आ रहा है. 50 minus 8 plus 8 minus 2 plus 170 minus 2 plus 170 minus 43, 140 minus 43. Yeah, let me know the answer. 50 minus 8, 8 minus 2. Anyone calculating? Aditi? Okay, let me ask someone. So I think हमेशा अच्छे से अटेंड करते हैं. Janvi, are you there? Let me know the answer. Avishkar?
Ma'am, maybe 458.
458. Someone please confirm this. कैलकुलेटर होगा ना बच्चों, मोबाइल में, मोबाइल तो लेके ही बैठे होंगे आप लोग आधा टाइम उधर ध्यान देने के लिए. उसमें से कैलकुलेटर ओपन कर लो 2 मिनट के लिए और बताओ, इसका सब्सट्रैक्शन करके बताना है बस, प्लस और माइनस. 458 राइट जानवी?
Yes, ma'am.
कंफर्म करके बताओ फिर से. ओके ओके fine, we will solve one more example. Till then you can tell the answer. Write down the next question. Let me write directly the Q. $96, $185.
Ma'am,
30.
641 is coming.
641.
Yes, ma'am.
ओके, कोई एक जन और बताएगा तो कंफर्म हो जाएगा हमें क्या आ रहा है। जानवी आप ही बताओ क्या गलत हुआ है। 641 आ रहा है, इसने वेरीफाई किया है। 35 122 35 122 16 120 55 57 50 minus 8 42 plus 6. ओके, चैट बॉक्स में भी 641 ही आंसर आया है। फाइन, 641, that will be the total track movement. So the next question is, your Q is 96, 185, 35, 122, 16, 120, 55 and the 57. And your head, इसे ऐसे भी कहते हैं, your head starts at, or read right head is present at the 51 position. Okay, will you solve this? Is it possible? Easy है, try करोगे solve करना?
Ma'am, number of tracks.
Okay, अगर ऐसे नंबर दिया नहीं गया है, गुड क्वेश्चन, अगर यहाँ पे मेंशन नहीं किया है कि टोटल नंबर ऑफ ट्रैक कितना है, सो व्हाट यू विल डू, सिंपली जो इसमें सबसे छोटा है स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम देयर, एंड जो सबसे लार्जेस्ट है एंड एंडेड देयर. ओके, सिंपली यू कैन डिनोट 0, 0 से आप कर सकते हो, और जो आखिरी में आपका लार्जर नंबर है उसको आप मेंशन कर सकते हो. इसमें लार्जर कौन सा है? 185, and it is starting from the 60, मतलब somewhere from here. Your read right head is present at 51. Yes. Anyone received the answer?
मैम आपने 95 मार्क नहीं किया है।
Oh, wait a minute. 95?
मैम द थर्ड वैल्यू
It's
कौन
35.
सा है? ओके
It's 35. 35 इधर मार्क किया। निश्चय क्या है आंसर? तोषना, विघ्नेश, what is the answer? $96, $185, $35, $122, $16, $120, $55, $57. This is the cube.
Ma'am, 648.
कितना? Yes, जान किसने जवाब दिया?
648.
Okay, 6.
Janvi.
Yes, anyone else?
यस मैम
Yes, ma'am,
648
648.
Okay, okay, correct. So this is clear, right? Simple है. तो next session में हम लोग we will start with the SSTF method. The remaining methods we will discuss in the next session. And इस पे हम example अभी यही बंद करते हैं क्योंकि after we can say after understanding each and every method, we will take a few examples which are asked in the university examinations togetherly. मतलब वहाँ पे कुछ और तरीके से भी कुछ पूछा जा सकता है. So we will solve examples based upon that. So यहाँ पे हम FCFS method बंद कर देते हैं, खत्म कर देते हैं. Simple ही है, ज्यादा कुछ है नहीं उसमें. Fine. So